Good afternoon, VV Nation. Let me know if you can hear me in the... Let's see here. There we go. All right. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. It is just me in the background. I got no Joey today. I got no Clay, so it's just me today. So I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me, that you can see me. So put a VV in the comment section if you can hear me. All right, you can hear and see. Okay, I was just making sure you thought the market was scary. Try to figure out how to start a live stream last minute. Joey's got a doctor's appointment here, but it looks like we're gonna be good to go. Looks like we're gonna be good to go here. I will say I'm looking for was it Wilder PK? Wilder PK, the guy who was bearish in yesterday's live stream, the Nvidia live stream. I know you've been with us before many times. I just want to give kudos to you right now for that. So let's jump in the software. There we go. There's the home page of the software. We can see the major indices in negative territory today. The Dow Jones down 300, NASDAQ almost 400. We all know what happened, right? Markets gapped up. That enthusiasm from Nvidia's earnings started to wane rather quickly. And actually, it looks like the alert just hit. So we'll give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room. I see the viewership starting to climb here. So come on, let's go get in the room here. I will say tonight's video, I had to record it a little bit earlier because I had this live stream. I got the daily color guard right after this. I did it on drones and robotics stocks. Now, as I started that video, I noticed just looking at some certain things here, the bull trap scenario. So by mid video, that kind of turned into a bull trap video on those robotics and drone stocks. So definitely check out tonight's video. Definitely check it out. Phyllis says, worth buying Micron now. It's funny you say that, Phyllis, because I said as soon as the price drops just below $200, I'm going to get my mom into her second position into Micron. But I'm looking for sub 200. I'm looking for sub 200 on Micron. All right, let's get to it. A lot of things are going on in the market today, right? Major indices getting mollywhacked. If you did some buying yesterday, if you did some buying last week in general, just stay defensive. Just stay defensive. Hi, Ryan, VV Nation. Hey, Roxana. LZK, I've taken most of my money out of the market and letting it take a breather from it all. Elkize, that is good advice. That's good advice. I've been talking about it, building up cash, right? Really been honing in on it since right around Halloween when the MTI, hit that new low and actually was right here. Yeah, 1.02 because the prior swing low was 1.04. So I've been singing more of a bearish tune since then. Build up your cash, right? You know what you look for, especially if you've been utilizing the VectorVest 7 software for a little bit. We're looking for the green lights, right? We're looking for primary wave. That's going to be very aggressive, very speculative. The last time the primary wave went up, it was a pivot. The Qs, the SPY, if you look at the time frame, it was just pivoting off the 40-day. That's been broken, right? And then, we retested some of those levels from the bottom end. How many people are either short or in cash? I'm not saying go out and sell everything and go to cash, especially now with the MTI, 0.6s, the BSR just got in the 0.2s. But again, stay disciplined, right? If your trade didn't work out last week or, yesterday, stay disciplined, right? Cutting a short loss or taking a quick gain, hey, is what it is, right? They are looking for Nvidia. What is the excuse for sell off? I don't think Nvidia had the power to save the market here. See here, I did not. Very horrible situation. Very horrible situation. All right, so let's get into some discipline practices, right? Let's get into some discipline practices. We can just go over it, a non-biased manner, right? Whether you're bullish, you're bearish, doesn't really matter, right? You trade the chart, not your heart. That's one of the most best things I could have gotten from Glenn, right? It's the reason why I didn't buy Navitas last week. It's the reason why I haven't gotten into Poet yet. Yeah, I still like the stocks. I haven't got into them yet. I let the trades come to me. The only one I bought was Data Vault, right? I think it was around $1.60, about 100 shares of it, or sub that. I think it was around 150 bucks worth. I think Data Vault's up, so that's actually working for me. We'll see, right? I might not be afraid to take a little bit off the table. But Ryan, you see how many are short and in cash? Timing matters. Timing always matters. Timing always matters. I learned my lesson. Don't ignore the confirmed down. Well, I've been singing the tune for 2 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks, especially, like I said, since Halloween, with that MTI trending lower and lower, BSR trending lower and lower. Where does the market usually like to find a bottom, right? 0.6s, right? BSR 0.2s, right? So now the market's just now getting to that level to where it can, start looking for its bottom, essentially, right? And it was really doing that, since yesterday. Nvidia could have been that one catalyst, but as of right now, it looks like a pretty big bull trap. So let's jump into the charts. We got some charts here, some pretty important stuff. All right, so first things, the Qs. Let's take a look at a month here. We talked about this. It's actually in tonight's video. It was a much smaller candlestick, and I don't mean to laugh when I say that, but you'll see in tonight's video, it's much smaller. You see the upper wick here. I mean, it was a clear as day, looking like a bull trap here. I mean, the open was right at the 20-day EMA. You can see the levels I have here. If I take this prior swing low, you see this prior swing low here, right? Well, that was just a tricky out this morning. So if you're a day trader this morning, buying this little pivot here, put some puts here, probably your good call. And look, you're getting some confirmation on that low since we took out the prior swing low. But yeah, so I was recording the video this morning. I didn't really notice the sell-off until I, definitely finished editing the video. I'm glad I was able to give at least some sound advice, right? VIX was over 28, nearing market oversold area. Most stocks all covered, right? If you ain't selling your stocks, covered calls, right? If you refuse to sell them, covered calls. Not a bad way to go. Typically, those work out better when the MTIs are at higher levels, right? If you watch any beginner options video, right? Any beginner options video here at VectorVest, they put a little chart out and it tells you right at the beginning of just about every one of these videos, even the paid courses. The biggest thing is bullish options strategies work typically best when the MTI and BSRs are down at this level. Doesn't mean you just go out and start buying bullish options right now, right? You want to couple that with some market timing, get some confidence, some sales of the wind behind us, right? Typically, bearish style options work better when the MTI is at 1.5, 1.6, right? But here's the Qs. The pivot we saw this morning here, short-lived. It was literally just pivoting off of this prior swing low here. The market wanted to see if it was going to take out that low. The buyers came in, short-lived, sellers took control, and now we've got a new swing low. So again, the Qs, right? Lower highs, you could tell right on this level here. And we're looking at a lower lows as well now coming into picture. So be careful. Let's see here. Most stocks are covered. Amir says, isn't it the bottom fishing now when BSR is at 0.2? This is when you start putting bottom fishing on your radar. This is when you start putting bottom fishing on your. Don't go out there, start buying stocks thinking this is the bottom and going out and saying Ryan said this is the bottom. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Saying this is now the time of the market to start actually looking for its bottom, right? Looking for its bottom. And I still think we can get a holiday rally. I still think we can get a holiday rally. I still think we can. I don't think it's going to start, tomorrow. We'll see. I'm waiting for it, but I'm still optimistic we get a holiday rally. But right now, be defensive. Be defensive. Ollie G says we will not. Ollie G, you're talking about a holiday rally? No, I'm not talking about it's going to jump up for, 3 straight months. But I think we could get a couple little weeks of a pivot here. And just to show you, we broke the 20, we broke the 40 clearly. Let's just add the 200 here. 200 is way down here. Let's see where the 150 is, or 100. 150. Where's the 100? Right at this level of support. Let's see if the 100 matters in the past. Level of support here. Jump through it here. It's definitely a key level to hold because you could see last time this was been around, this is in March, the tariff ordeal. We held it for looks about 2 days here on the Qs. And then once we broke it, that momentum started speeding up quite a bit, right? So keep an eye on that. Is there a way to check market timing for particular sectors or industries in VectorVest? Not necessarily with like MTI, BSR. You can use RT. That's what we use for the industries and sectors. And we'll get to that in just a moment because I actually have some industries and sectors up there for you. But this 100 is interesting. Again, I'm not sold on it. And if you go out and buy today, just because I'm showing you 100 moving average here, you are catching a falling knife. Point blank, catching a falling knife. That's what I don't want you to do. So let's just let the market come to us. Let's get some discounts. Palantir, I've said it a million times. Ascending channel, got no concerns with Palantir being overvalued. I mean, you can say what you want about Nvidia, but apparently Burry had something, in the works with Palantir. And I said it. Palantir, it made sense, that short trade, right? Nvidia, that's a little hard to justify. Obviously, today that short looks good, but in general, it's still hard to justify in my opinion. It broke the 100 here. I got a zone. The bottom of the zone around 151. We're at 157 right now. If it breaks this 151, my next little line's coming in here around 135. All I'm going to say right now is be defensive on Palantir. I'm not telling you to sell it, buy it, whatever. The decision is yours. But I've said it a million times. As long as it's in this ascending channel, not a problem. It's not in that ascending channel anymore. More of a problem, right? More of a problem. All right, here's CoreWeave. CoreWeave just entered the ascending channel once again. Nope. Look at the valuation on CoreWeave. This is where I see some of that AI bubble stuff, right? These type of stocks, not so much the Nvidia. Let the stock come to you. I'm looking around $63. You could see the prior swing high here. BSR, MTI could bring it down a little bit more. The sell-off is around 63. Honestly, I'm writing this one down because I'm going to put an alert here. And I'm not saying actual buy, but this might set up for a nice little swing trade pivot, something of that nature. And if it pivots off of this, maybe looking at obviously this trend line here and the descending channel, or even this 20-day EMA, looks like it might be right around the same level here if this drops a little bit more. Nvidia earnings are their own investment. Let's see, LEG, that's a lot of stuff here. I am a Canadian. Can anyone explain what the U.S. market is so bearish today after a very positive pre-market? Just AI bubble concerns, but realistically, just looking at the chart and getting all the noise out, I just spoke about this. Oh, was it? I guess I have a bunch of stocks on this list here. I did have a bunch of stocks. All right, we're going to go back to this list. Micron, or sorry, not Micron. If we go to 1 month here, perfect rejection here. Perfect bull trap scenario, rejection. Be careful. This, the Q's making another low means there could be another, leg to this drop here, right? Looks like we're trying to find support at the 150 and this prior swing low. So keep this in mind. But if we break that 150, would not be opposed to getting a little bit more excited about bearish positions, especially if you, if you played this rejection this morning. Hey, nice. Let's see here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me just go down the list here. I've got the major stocks. I'm going to got the major stocks here. AMD, again, it was an ascending channel. Yes, this showed me some weakness here. The only thing that brought it back was the ChatGPT deal, right? Overlived, and now, because of that deal, it looks like they're being part of that AI bubble thing, So the pressure is on. Because it broke this green line, my long-term trend line here, if you didn't take profits from the ChatGPT deal, I'm not telling you to sell the whole position. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would be saying bearish. I am bearish on this position. And if we break this, 202, we got a big gap to fill here. And the stock could come back to its valuation. So if you're looking for AMD, the Micron, stuff like that, the deals are coming. Here's Micron. Looks like it just broke its 40. I got a level here, 199. Like I've said, I got my mom into this last week. I told her to wait on it, but she didn't want to. But she only entered a third of her position. I told her to wait for it to get sub 200. So clearly I'm looking for sub 200, and I'll fill the second part of that Micron position. I'm not in a rush to fill it, though. Let the market come to us. Qs, we covered that. But Micron, I'm still going to be bullish over the long term, right? I think, Warren Buffett said it best, that market corrections have a great job of mispricing stocks. So I'm hoping it misprices Micron. I want a good deal on it. I'm not worried. DCA down. My current average is 96. On which? Oh, on Micron. Nice. See your job numbers affect the market today. Well, Stacy, I saw the jobs numbers. The job numbers look good from that report, right? And I guess there was some delayed data, and with the jobs numbers coming out pretty good, where they had like 120,000 jobs. The question right now is the AI bubble, but also not another interest rate cut, right? It's looking like that December cut might not be happening. Yeah, Adam, I will say if you are averaging at $96 on Micron, you are. That's nice. I'm waiting for MU under 200, like you said. There we go, Kara. Let the sorry, Ollie G, I was reading your comment here. Let the stocks come to you. Let the stocks come to you. And all these stocks here, like Nvidia, remember the tariffs? I mean, these great quality stocks, like Nvidia was around $150. It dropped all the way down to $80. Again, that's what I'm saying. Be defensive right now, unless you're, there's some, just be defensive right now. Don't let these stocks become emotional. Tighten your stops if if you're worried about the market, right? Start building up your cash. Wait for opportunities. CoreWeave, like I said, look for this pivot here. This might actually be a good pivot off 63, at least a short-term swing trade. My target would be the 20-day EMA there. MicroStrategy. This is long MicroStrategy, now $2.11. Like I said, I like MicroStrategy's value now because now they're not trading at a premium compared to Bitcoin. They're actually pretty undervalued compared to Bitcoin. But what I don't like about MicroStrategy is Bitcoin just broke that long-term trend line. I talked about this, was it Monday's live stream? All crypto, bearish, stay disciplined. Yeah, I like it too, but it doesn't mean I'm going to write it back down to, who knows, man. There could be a potential crypto winner the way I'm looking at that Bitcoin chart. I don't like it. Ryan, I just convinced my surgeon to buy VectorVest trial. Nice. A lot of doctors are members to VectorVest. I will say I've gotten to meet quite a few doctors across the country. BSR is 0.2. I saw that. Yeah. So the bottom fishing, and today's picks, I'm gonna let you know. Just get the bottom shopping list ready. That's what either give me a stock. Actually, I'll take 2 stocks picks today. I'll do one more defensive. If you're holding it, we'll take a look at some levels, and then I'll do another round of stocks. Maybe potential bottom fishing stocks. I think that would probably be most appropriate for today. But MicroStrategy, like I said, I could pull it up over here, show you guys. I know we got some crypto people in the house, but let's see here. Actually, let me just I'll use this one here, BTC. BTC, we had the 200. It broke its 200. I was going to show you the real Bitcoin chart, but BTC breaking the 200 is also just going to show you, right? Just be careful. Hood, Chris Camillo, loving it, but I don't know. I like Hood, just a little overvalued for me. Clean Spark. Hi, Ryan. Which AI stock are independent of China? What do you mean by that? Because with the supply chains all the way down to like rare earths, as far as elements, there's not many AI. You'd have to do your research, but I imagine to some degree, just about every AI stock out there has some kind of, exposure to China one way or the other when it comes to supply chain. But yeah, Bitcoin, be careful with Bitcoin here. All right, let's get back to these stocks. MicroStrategy, again, no. Big Bear AI, look at the Big Bear AI. It just plays this chart. Oh my God, the perfect swing trading stock. I love Big Bear AI. Yeah, I know it's overvalued, is what it is. It probably could get caught in the AI bubble, not gonna lie. But this thing has been playing this chart pattern like a fiddle. I've done probably 2 or 3 videos on some of these swings. Hopefully you guys made some money. What I don't like here, looks like we're going to break the bottom of this trend line here. Keep an eye on that. If you are holding Big Bear AI as an investor, be careful of this. If we break this, yeah, I'm looking we can get some better prices here. But what I do like about Big Bear AI going forward, if, the AI bubble, like I said, whatever concerns, a lot of these stocks pull back. Let's get some of these stocks closer to our valuations. If I can see this, what was the value? 120 now. If this thing ticks up again to $2, this thing drops down to $4. they're kind of meeting in the middle, right? That's kind of where I would like to see with Big Bear AI, at least as far as an long-term investment perspective. Because as of late, it's just been swing trading opportunities, right? And yeah, you probably do have some nice long-term gains here. It's been a wild ride for you, but if it breaks this trend line, that wild ride may not be as fun as it once was. I'm just going to be honest. All right, here's aerospace and defense. Let's zoom into 3-month time span. Let me just get rid of earnings per share here. Don't need that. Value, it's overvalued. A lot of people flooded into aerospace and defense, so let's just be honest about that. 6 months, aerospace and defense is taking a breather. I mean, just look at the value here, right? If we zoom out a little bit more, you see aerospace and defense just very, very consolidated. And then obviously, this year has been hot for defense stocks, especially like the drone stocks, the robotic stocks, things of that nature. The value is ticking up, which is nice, but I don't like this price action here. And you see my green line. This was my resistance level. This is my first level here. You should have noticed around 108. And that's around 103. Be careful if we break much lower past this line here. There's not a whole lot of support, but yeah, I could see some profit taking going on this aerospace and defense ETF. I'm not going to be a buyer of it, but yeah, if it breaks this green line, I would be getting a little bit more defensive. You just got to ask yourself, I mean, your money hasn't been doing a whole lot lately. I mean, especially since, about May or June here? We're back to where we were May or June. And that's almost 6 months ago. So again, a lot of those stocks did show some opportunities, but taking a breather there. All right, RT relative timing showing us even the short-term price trend not in the favor of the bulls right now. I've also got mining here. Now, this is mining, all the mining. Uranium is typically one of the most overvalued spots. Right? Gold, typically undervalued, right? Look at the value. If I had to guess, most of this pullback's probably from some more of the uraniums, the rare earths. I know gold had a little bit of a pullback here. But overall, hey, the mining space, it just got a little overvalued. You can see it stretched from our valuation. What happened? A natural little breather. So I'm still liking mining. And honestly, if there really are some troubles that occur in tech stocks here in the future, I'm not going to be surprised to see if, gold and silver are the safe places. I'm not saying that they will be, but look for those to potentially be the safe places if, this AI thing really starts unfolding. But we'll see. I'm not too concerned about that. Right now, I'm just normal market movements, right? All right. So next one I got here is electronic. This is where the semiconductors are going to be in. You can see it broke its 20 back here, broke the 40, right? Right around that time, you see the RT showing weakness. That's why I love this RT. If you're not a chart expert, if you're not an expert on moving averages and patterns and candlesticks and trend lines and all that stuff, RT will tell you. RT just went below 1, so typically something up here is telling me something bearish might be going on. Just from a perspective, price action broke these moving averages. If I draw a little trend line here, you can make it all fancy up here on the chart. But RT is telling you the same thing. Look, the break and the trend line and the moving averages is the same time the RT chart is showing weakness. That's why I usually don't even have a lot of technical indicators. Maybe just some simple moving averages here, just for simple illustration purposes. But RT, not a good time to be in electronic space, right? And looking at this morning, this was also has got me. Because I saw this morning, I was looking at sectors here. Look where we gapped up and opened up in the electronic space, right at where the retest would be, right? We break the moving averages, break a trend line, whatever it may be. Typically, price action likes to retest it, right? Look at that. The retest was right at the open, and it looks like that rejection did take place here. So again, this is electronic sector. This is where you're going to find the semis, some other electrical related stocks. All right, next one here, I've got gold. Gold doesn't look too bad. Still above its 20, still above my green line here on this trend line. So I still like gold. Bitcoin, we talked about Bitcoin. Like I said, it broke that 200-day moving averages. It's looking at BTC as well, Bitcoin. We were looking at Monday. It was right at that trend line, the long-term trend line. If I had to guess with price action today, probably broke it. We'll see. I run a DEW of several market ETFs in the VectorVest composite. They all turned on 11/13. Okay, John, you're talking about putting the 30-day weighted moving average and the DPO, like the setup here. So, like for example, what he's talking about, and I've seen other people do this. It's actually a really good system. So, for example, if you track the Qs a lot, right, or if you're pretty tech heavy in your portfolio, right? Kara says, Ryan, thank you for showing examples on the charts. That's how I learn best. So it's making sense. Okay, Kara, I know everyone's got expertise levels, and I could go into crazy things like Fibonacci's and stuff like that. I know Ron does that a lot, but I usually keep it pretty simple, right? I've said it before. If you gotta throw 20 different things on the chart to convince yourself to buy it, probably don't need to be buying it in the first place, right? Use VTI on RSP on your DEW charts. What do you mean VTI? All right, so QQQ, I did want to show you this real quick. So if I change the layout, this is what he's talking about, this Pro Trader Timing DW layout. So this is the same layout we get for the DEW signal, right? But the signal is being generated off the VectorVest composite, right? So I have seen a lot of customers, especially when I was working in the call center, it's pretty common from experienced VectorVest users, that they'll use the same layout on something like the Qs, the SPY, whatever they might be trading or investing in. But you see here, look at the Qs, looking at this signal here, or the system, I should say, because the signal is actually for the VectorVest composite. All right, so if we got the DEW, so yeah, November 13th here, right? So this really showed you some warning, which is really nice because look at the price action, right? The Qs came back up, got rejection at this level, but once this rejection went right below that 30-day weighted moving average and DPO went negative, that's not a good sign, right? Especially if you follow the DEW. Me personally, I'm a swing trader. That's my favorite signal by far, VectorVest or not. And I am, like customers, I do utilize this layout on other entities as well, rather than just the VectorVest composite. IXIC works well with the D. Yeah, it's the same thing. Just, that's the NASDAQ 100. So this will be the full NASDAQ here, IXIC. So yeah, this is, another tool, put in your tool belt, right? Another tool to put in your tool belt. So if you're looking for weakness, and I would not be surprised if most people watching this probably tech heavy, right? Let's be honest here. Probably got a whole lot of semiconductors. Who knows what you got? But yes, if you're one of those, and look at this, a rejection right at that 30-day weighted moving average again. So yeah, if I'm looking to, maybe, well, I guess now you could use the term bottom fishing, but with the. And me and Steve Chappell were talking about this earlier, actually, while we're getting coffee in the break room. But normally, when the BSR and the MTI are at these levels, we're not prior to today, so we're down about another %, but we were pretty close to market highs, right? So don't, we'll see, but it's just an interesting partake that we are pretty close to, all-time highs with these indicators. So maybe the market's taking a healthy breather, but either way, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined out there. But with the MTI 0.6s, the BSR now got into the 0.2s, and I don't have the color guard here for you. But we got 3 red lights, right? So yes, now is the time to start actually considering bottom fishing. Stocks, right? Not saying pull the trigger. Do not pull that trigger by any means, because we are not showing bottom fishing. And honestly, if you got the time today, I would probably just go on YouTube, go to our channel, whatever, just search VectorVest bottom fishing. Be more in-depth videos onto exactly what to look for on the homepage going forward, right? But using this method, John Boston also said, he uses as well. But yeah, so for this, you would just look for price action to get back above that 30-day weighted moving average. And you would look for the the DPO to get back in positive territory. The same rules for the DEW, right? So you're pretty much just making your own, DEW system for the NASDAQ composite here. I've seen a lot of subscribers do this before. This is one way, to try to, get in early on a market bottom, right? If you don't want to wait for the DEW on the broad market, if you're more particular, interested in the tech-related industries or semiconductors. Ollie G says, I flipped last week. I'm shorting semiconductors. Hey, hopefully some of these things here. And then, obviously, I don't know if we looked at it, but let's Let's just go ahead and look at Nvidia so you don't have to give it to me today. Let's just go ahead and look at it. Here's Nvidia. Again, by way of DEW here, really just showing a lot of indecision. Nvidia been moving to the side here. You know, no sell recommendations coming in place. My line in the sand here is around 171 here. That's when I'd really be getting concerned about Nvidia. Our stop price, the VectorVest stop price, it's right above me. It's right above me. So our stop price is going to come in. Let me change this. Let's see the VectorVest simple. 173. And my level here to look out for is around 171. So ultimately, if Nvidia gets in the low 170s, that's when you really start to need getting concerned, right? Starting to get concerned. Nvidia is now range bound for extended period. Yes, I can agree with that. Pretty range bound. And it should be, right? Because think about it. Like I said, it just came off $80, right? Pretty range bound. And you can see this 170s right at the bottom end of this range here that I've got. So if it breaks the bottom end of this range, you know, it's troubled waters. I don't know exactly what's going to happen after that, but be careful because you can see Nvidia has had big dips before, right? This was the whole tariff thing. And if there is really any kind of big pullback, I would look probably around 153. That would be the prior swing high here. The only retest on it is just a quick little retest here. So if it breaks this 170 level, we get the sell. You know, I'd just go ahead and put alert in your broker for 153 because that might just be the next big deal on Nvidia. We'll see. Nvidia, let's see here. Range bound, it will cross 210. It will not go down below 171. Now, Ollie G, those are bold words. I'm not going to make a firm statement. I let the stocks come to me. You know, I don't try to predict and you know, say a stock is going to necessarily do something. Because what if it doesn't do it, right? You better be nimble. You better adjust your plan. I go with the market. I don't go against it. All right. What time is it? 2:31. Let's get over here. I don't have any earning stocks, anything like that today, because I really just want to show you some important parts in the market. So let's just get into it. Okay. We'll empty. Don't put in the stocks yet. All right. This is what we're going to do. Hit that like button. You're about a minute. So what we're going to do is I'm going to double up for you. So for every 10 likes, you're going to get one stock for each category. So the first round of stocks, we're going to do the stocks that you might be concerned about, the ones that are pulling back, right? The ones you might need to get disciplined on, right? The second round of stocks are stocks that you don't own, ones that you're thinking about buying, the bottom fishing, right? Get that list together. Doesn't mean go out and buy it today. That's not what I'm saying. See, just, you know, we'll get the list together, right? All right. That being said, let me look at this likes here. How many are we going to have? See, I told you I don't have Joey in the background. I don't even know how to look at how many likes I got. I have to do this. How many likes I got? Oh, look at that. 77 likes. Nice. So you're going to get 8 stocks for each category. So that'll be 16 stocks. Look at that. We're going to have 16 stocks today. So as of right now, put in your stocks. Right now. GPUS, Ollie G, you're the winner. APGE. And these are, again, stocks that you currently own that might be in trouble. Iron, that's a good one. So GPUS, Micron, APGE, Micron again. We're not going to do Micron twice. Iron, fun short, please. 50 stocks for Glenn and Joey. John. I'm never going to get out of here. Micron again. Nice. A lot of people are asking about Micron. Micron would be the dip I'd be looking for too. I like Micron. That's definitely the dip I got my eyes on. ITRG. See how many this is here. Oh, Meta. I got to put in Meta. Did I put in Meta? Oh, I did put in Meta. All right. Okay. There's 8 right there. All right. You can see the pressure is on today with these positions. Let's just see what's leading the charge to the downside. Positive. Iron. Iron's positive. Where's that? $46? Man, I can see why it's positive because that from a technical perspective in the 40s, that does look rather attractive of iron. We're going to take a look at it. I really like iron on this dip too. This one I'm not familiar with. It's a positive territory, so hey, might not be a bad idea to keep your eyes on it. Meta, let it drop. Meta, this is going to be a nice scoop. This is going to be a nice. Look at that value, 766. Yeah, let it come on back. I might get my mom into some Meta here soon too. Hyperdata, GPS. Okay, this one. Let's see here. 21 cents. We've had 40. This one is interesting. I've been looking at this one as well. Undervalued stock, but just the market's not here for it. Integra Resources. Okay, down 6%. Micron. I know. I texted my mom this morning. I told her it's down 10%. I literally told her, I was like, tried to tell you last week, Mom, to wait. But, she's got a financial advisor, so he didn't put in a price order. But if that thing goes below 200, I'm not saying I'm buying at 199. But I'm going to take a look at some levels. We'll see here. Oklo, nice power play. Federal National Mortgage Association down 15%. Is that because of housing data? Does anyone know why that one is down quite a bit here? CEG was not missed from what I said now. All right, let's jump in these charts. So these are stocks that you currently own. You might be in trouble for. So let's take a look at them. Here's iron. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if I got you in this stock, if you watched the initial video and you got your $20 and you not listen to me on this trend line, shame on you. Sometimes a simple trend line is one of the best ways to capture a big parabolic move. Because you see their stop price is trying to catch up to it. But it's a 13-week moving average, right? So once the stock goes parabolic like this, yeah, you're going to give some off the table. The sell recommendation came in, right? Which is good. Was supposed to, $45. It just came in as of yesterday. I'm in the zone here. You got my zone. We're still in the zone. Look, big upper wick, top of the zone. All these wicks at the top of the zone, I have a feeling we might break the bottom of this zone here. If we break the bottom of that zone, I'm not going to lie. I might be really excited because we break that. My next level is not till $30. And if we can get this value to jump up a little bit more, shoot, we might just be able to get iron fairly valued here in the future. So if you're holding on to it, I'm going to be defensive. I want this to come back down more. You really need a close above this consolidation period. We're not seeing that, right? So I wish I could give you better news, but this trend line, that was what really could have kept you in this trade. As of right now, $43. If it drops below that, I'm going to get defensive, and honestly, I'm going to get excited because we're getting close to this value. We can make our way back to this valuation here. You see the stock was fairly valued, but just with the news and the Microsoft deal, hey, I still see big ambitions with this stock, but a lot of that got baked in, so I wanted to come back down to me. Earnings per share is rising. You see the RT as well. What do I tell you guys about RNG? I didn't even recognize it, but look, as soon as price broke through this trend line, look what RT did, right? Went right into negative territory. Boom. It showed you that weakness in that trend there, right? Yeah, it was one candlestick late. That's why I like RT. I mean, yeah, so if you didn't know about trend lines and all these other lines, I'm sure there's some moving average pivots that we could probably look at here too. RT does a lot of that work for you. Oklo is on the short seller list with Caristale. Interesting. But yeah, parabolic exhaustion. I'm going to say get defensive on it, but I'm looking at this closer to our evaluation, and I might just put a alert, maybe like $30. Give me a heads up. But if iron drops below 30, that sucker's on my radar for sure. Here is APGE. Nope. Price is going the wrong way compared to value. Earnings per share is going the wrong way. The only thing this thing's got on its favor right now is trend, right? So, again, these are supposed to be stocks that you're holding. You want to get defensive on. So, this big move here, if you're trying to capture the profits of that move, I'm looking around $60 as my stop, right? Especially, I'm not going to give it this much wiggle room with what I see going on in the market right now. As long as it stays above this trend line, hey, make those profits, right? If it breaks this trend line, this trade's going to be a little harder for you, especially depending on what the market's doing. Meta broke my severe line here at 632. That's okay because it's becoming more undervalued. If you're in it, I'm going to tell you right now, be defensive. The sell recommendation, honestly, it came right at a great time just from just a technical perspective here. You see a gap down, had my zone here, broke the zone, but as soon as that gap, the VectorVest system has given it a sell recommendation ever since that gap down. And that closed that day with 666. It's kind of a bad number, right? But now it's at 585. So again, don't ignore these sell recommendations here. RT as well, look, giving you plenty of warning here. But look, rising earnings, undervalued MagSap, it's meta, right? And as far as any kind of deals potentially on Meta, maybe right here, 533. If this, if this market starts to sell off, maybe look towards this consolidation period for the next pivot. Which, if the pivot did occur around this period, this pivot would be higher than this pivot, and that would still give me some optimism for the bulls for sure. But yeah, I'm looking lower on Meta, definitely. GPUS. Had so much potential, but no. Now, there was a big move here. You could see the chart pattern ever since it broke out of this channel here. Or not the channel, but you see, there it is. Well, boom, broke down. I can't get behind this stock. The reason why it was on my list is because it was undervalued AI stock, right? Had some potential there, but look at the value just falling off a cliff here, price down. No optimism in this position at all, unfortunately. See, here goes 6 months. Yeah, I can't get behind this one. This one, gold company here. It's flirting with our stop price, and honestly, that stop price is probably a pretty good level to consider, protecting profits here. I mean, from an investment perspective here, there's no real big concerns at this moment, right? Stocks trending up, undervalued, looks good here. Look, Bill says gold back to flat for the day. We're going to take a look at gold here, because like I said, if this AI bubble thing persists and the market keeps rolling over, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if gold, benefited from that. Not gonna lie. I like that layout. There isn't all kinds of stuff to distract. I'm making my list today. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I use different graph layouts because I know there's people here that like, technical analysis. I try to cater to them and some others, to keep it simple. So I do different graph layouts. But this one here, as long as it stays above the stop price 275, we're only 4 cents away, right? Maybe protects the profits. You could, if it's optionable, you do cover call if you get that sell recommendation, if you really don't want to sell it. Otherwise, I would be considering getting defensive probably pretty soon. And honestly, even if, just going back to Glenn, just make it life easier if you just use a simple trend line. That's what I'm saying. Trust these stop prices. Trust that RT. Because look, if price action breaks it, it's going to give you the sell recommendation. Ultimately, it could be the same day that we break the this trend line here, right? So again, don't ignore this stop price, this blue line. Don't ignore this red line. It's noticing a lot of things in the background that you may not even be noticing on a chart. Here's Micron. Everybody wants to talk about Micron, so all right, let's talk about it here. This is the pivot I'm looking for right off of this. That's going to be 171. 171. We'll see. And I know that sell recommendation is going to be coming in. We're not there yet. You see RT still above 1, still in favorable territory. So if you're in Micron, I'm not too concerned about it. But I do like that 171 level. We'll see. But overall, with RT above 1, rising earnings, value still rising, this stock still has a buy recommendation. Even with a 10% drop today, it's not even a hold yet. So just keep that in mind. This is a strong stock here. But I think the deal would be around 170. It might be short of that because I have a feeling a lot of people are going to pile in on this one once it gets below 200, because I'm already hearing it in the comments section, right? So again, this might not be a bad one little nibble. At least start with a nibble, right? I'm not going to back up the truck on Micron in these kind of conditions. Let's see here. Oklo at a pretty pivotal level right now. I keep these levels here. I don't really change them much. And you can see it's came back right down to this level, 95. At the bottom, I got 88. Right now, it's 92. So if it breaks 88, of course, I'm going to be bearish on it. The sell recommendation, the RT, it's already in play. So if you're not already defensive on this position, hey, that's on you. But the VectorVest 7 system, we got sells. We got RT below 1. Stock's way overvalued. and it's got negative earnings per share. And when there's talks of an AI bubble, and yes, this can be part of that AI bubble, the utility aspect of it, I do not want to be in an overvalued negative earnings forecasted stock, especially the RT below 1. If RT's above 1, yeah, take it as a trade for sure. You can see that worked out really well back here. As long as the RT was above 1, that trade worked out. Now it's not working out so well. So just let RT get back above 1. Play the trade again. All right, here's FNMA. And we're going to tell you what I don't like. Not only is price action fallen, but look at this. This is my favorite chart pattern. Value on the rise, price action on the rise, undervalued, right? Not that hard, not that crazy. So what's happening now? My least favorite chart pattern. Well, except the fact that it's undervalued, which is a good thing. Especially be a lot worse if it was overvalued. But look, value's falling, price is falling, right? So be careful. That RT, head and shoulders. You talking about on this one, Roxana? Head and shoulders on FMNA. Where do you see head and shoulders at? Shoulder? Maybe a shoulder. Maybe a shoulder head. But yeah, these stocks right here, get defensive on these positions. The software, I don't need to tell you. The software is telling you what the software is telling you. It's up to you to make those decisions, right? And discipline, keeping your emotions out of the trade. I know that's, for me, and most people I talk to, that's probably the hardest part of investing, right? So try to stay disciplined. Stick to what the VectorVest indicators are trying to tell you right now. Right now, it's trouble ahead. All right. Oh, on Oklo. All right, let's take a look at Oklo real quick. Oh, yeah, I do kind of see that here. Doesn't look good. You got shoulder, right? Head, shoulder, and heck, this looks like the neckline. Well, actually looks like the neckline was right here. But yeah, that doesn't look good for Oklo. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie at all. Head and shoulders for sure. So I'm just curious here because I like symmetry. If you ever study stock symmetry, so you measure from the head to the shoulder, top of the head, bottom of the shoulders here. That neckline. And that'll put you right in my next level of support, and that actually gets you close to valuation here. So again, some of these stocks that are way overvalued, right? They might be just coming back to us. So if you missed out on the Oklo trade, if you missed out on the iron trade, well, Micron's still undervalued. But some of these other stocks here, hey, they're coming back to it. Look, iron, right? Like I said, if it breaks below this consolidation point, this 43, I could see it. I mean, the next nice pivot level here is 30. The value's ticking up. The value could tick up a little bit more. Price come down to 30. Heck, iron fairly valued. It worked out pretty well last time when it was fairly valued. So I'm saying is a lot of these stocks will be opening up opportunities in the future, but don't just go out there and start catching falling knives. That's a way to cause a lot of stress before the holidays for you, that you don't really need, right? All right, so let's empty these. So that was the first 8. Don't put them in yet. Don't put them in yet. Don't put them in yet. Please don't put them in yet. I'm going to see if you hit that like button a couple more times. You did. So I'm going to give you extra stocks here. So again, remember this time, these stocks are ones that you're thinking about putting on your shopping list. I've got 101 likes. You got 10 stocks. Put them in now. Let's go. What are y'all shopping for? What are we shopping for? And again, don't pull the trigger today. Well, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you. But if you do, you're clearly going against the VectorVest software, right? See all the red lights? And let's just go back, make sure we still are. I had a feeling, yeah, it looks like we're still a couple hundred points in the negative there, so not much. We had a little bit of bounce, like I talked about earlier in the live stream here, just off that prior swing low. It was a nice technical bounce, nothing too convincing. And then obviously the bears came in pretty quick. All right, let's go in here. Let's see what we got. We got Magnitude International, Data Vault, okay. UAMY, PAS, Pan American Silver, I believe that is, right? I feel like I've almost remembered just about every stocks ticker symbol. It's almost like a useless, well, I want to say it's a useless skill. It's almost like remembering all the capitals and, the states. How you're really proud when you know that stuff. Let's see here. Boyle. Someone's trying to get in the natural gas trade. LAES that's one on my radar for sure. That's my quantum pick, but I'm letting the stock come to me. I like it. But we got 10 on the DALT. AGX. I'm gonna give you AGX because I'll put Data Vault as my honorable mention. That is not my skill, by the way, John. Capital New Hampshire. Oh God, I'm gonna try to pretend not to Google it. Let's see here, capital of New Hampshire. I feel like I should know it. No, Hartford is Connecticut. You would quiz me, wouldn't you? I don't know. Capital New Hampshire. Is it Boston? No, it's Concord. Definitely wasn't gonna guess Concord. That Concord's right next to us here, Concord, North Carolina. All right, so I just went ahead and added the last few stocks. There wasn't that many stocks here. All right. So some of these stocks I've talked about on the channel quite a bit. Let's just see here where the winners, Magnitude, Data Vault. I can't believe Data Vault. Actually, the one stock I bought last week's actually up. Oh, that's good to know. Webull, I like Webull. It's not coming to me yet though. Where's yours at? Oh, I thought I put it in there. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's Tempest AI. AGX, CEG. I'll add in Google. All right. What time is it? 2:51. Take him to the chocolate fountain and Golden Corral. Exactly what I wanted, John. It was the chocolate fountain, Golden Corral. You know what I should do? I should just surprise the family and order me a little chocolate fountain off Amazon, and we can have a chocolate fountain at Thanksgiving dinner. And I think I might actually do that. I think people would love that. And it's just for all that you know, my specialty for Thanksgiving dinner, which is next Thursday, is deviled eggs. And I like maple bacon deviled eggs. That's my favorite. Oh, boogers. I fell behind and wasn't listening live. Oh, sorry. Santa will bring me some Micron when it gets ripe. Yeah. Hey, I'm all right with that. If he won't give us a rally, at least give us some good stocks on a discount. I mean, that's, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? Mustard in there? Of course you got to have mustard in there, man. I use some Dijon mustard. Maple bacon deviled eggs. You should have seen me. I think it was not last year, but the year before. I had like 4 or 5 different kinds of deviled eggs. Sriracha deviled eggs were delicious, actually. That was a hit. Sriracha ones. All right. I do like to cook. All right. So let's look at these Data Vault. What is Magnitude International? If you don't know what a stock is, simply right click. This little beautiful chart will come up. This is called the Full Stock Analysis Report. If you don't have access to VectorVest 7 software, you can just go to vectorvest.com/FSA for a free stock analysis report, and you'll get one of these. That way you'll build some confidence in the software here. Look at this stock. I mean, the stock price looks good. Industry doesn't. What does it do here? Electrical installation projects. Electrical installation for private and public housing, commercial, and mixed use. Okay, interesting. Electrical installation. Ryan, you have to make a YouTube short for those eggs. Hey, nice. Hey, that wouldn't be bad. Yuck. Either you love them or you hate them. All right, before we got to the charts, Ollie G, I'll give you Uber. I'll give you Uber. All right, let's get into the charts here. Let's graph them. Oh, no, not that graph. Let's graph these. Because I got the daily color guard report today. I feel like the market's always doing something crazy the week I get the daily. I never get like a nice quiet week in the market. But that's the other thing. Is there really such a thing as a quiet week in the market? All right. Yeah, look at the news on this one. I mean, it's still getting follow through. With the market down today, and we're at session highs on this stock, went from $1.50. Look at the news on this one. And I'm already going to tell you, if you got VectorVest, switch over to Star Search. Stay in those profits. As long as it's in that fast lane, hey, might not use everything. Not everything else might not be working in the market, but this one is, right? So this one, I don't know if this is a bottom fishing stock, but this might be a trade you could take today. Be careful though. It is overvalued. Let's just go back to the VectorVest simple layout. Parabolic move, not necessarily the type of stocks we're talking about on the list here, but a good stock. Here's Data Vault. This is the level I'm looking at right now, this 173. If it breaks below this 173, we get a lot of rejection here. Just be careful. Even me, I would stay disciplined as well, because look at the value, just dropped quite a bit, right? That's one of my whole things was, the stock was getting closer to its valuation, but now I can't see it. Use ComEx. Stop. Earnings per share. I mean, this stock is speculative. I'm not going to lie and say it's not speculative. Definitely a speculative play. It's AI. And the other thing that you got to know about Data Vault, its treasury method is not traditional. They've got a Bitcoin treasury, right? So with Bitcoin just breaking that trend line, their whole treasury, I don't know how much of their treasury, but I know they've got a Bitcoin treasury and a good portion. There's quite a bit of money in it. So yeah, this stock could be, their fundamentals can be affected by Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. But as far as getting in this position, I really did like this pivot here. If we just take a look at this low, the low came in right around this consolidation point here before. Otherwise, if I zoom out here, see, that's when we first started looking at it, when it broke this trend line. And you can see when it broke it, again, RT, I'm telling you right now, if you don't, sorry for adding that line, but look at this RT. As soon as we break this downward trend line, RT goes bam. There's something bullish in the chart you need to pay attention to. And just to the adverse effect here, right when it went down, it broke this support line here. So even, again, I guess keep saying it. You don't have to be a chart master. Just have RT on your chart. It's looking for those little things on the graph that you might just miss, okay? But as of right now, the only thing I like about RT is hitting a series of higher lows and higher highs. So as long as that continues, I'm going to be okay with it. But have some caution with today's market. And as far as a nice pullback, you're looking at around $1. On a severe pullback pivot, because I got a pretty range bound here from touches from the bottom. But I would look, closer to $1 range, just looking about $1.03. Coming in late, but heard you talk about Thanksgiving. Found a recipe for herb mayonnaise brine turkey. Looks really good. I'm actually in charge of the turkey this year. I've never cooked a turkey, so we'll see. Hopefully it turns out like this live stream I ran without Joey today and is a success, right? We'll find out. I'm more worried about my deviled eggs than the turkey, though, to be honest. That's just me. I love deviled eggs. All right, but Data Vault, again, serious note, we want price action above 173. We want that RT. If we get, if we break this swing low in RT, let's just put a level here in RT. Most prior swing low is 0.35. Right now we're at 0.52. So if RT goes back below 0.35, and you see price getting rejection of this 173, be careful of that. Ryan, don't put a frozen turkey in the fryer. Oh, so I did, trust me, I've already was aware to make sure that turkey is out of the freezer days prior. So that way it's thawed out. Here's Bull. I've looked at Bull. I like Webull, the app. You guys know I use them a lot. A lot of consolidation. It broke to the downside, right? Unless this becomes a meme stock, there's some short interest, something to pivot it up here. I'm not liking it. We valued at $1.67. So I see from a, from a fundamental perspective, just overvalued here. I'm not liking Bull. You see it came out of its IPO way overvalued. Robinhood taking a lot of the thunder, right? And they really do need to diversify a little bit more. Robinhood gives some things that Webull doesn't. I like Robinhood better. Here's Argan Inc. I'll rephrase this. I like trading on Webull better, but there are certain things on Robinhood that I like better as far as other things than just stocks, like crypto, tokenization, they got predictive markets, which is pretty fun. So here's Argan. I mean, other than this big upper wick here, nice lower left, upper right, strong buy rating. We haven't had a sell in quite some time. RT well above 1. This is not a stock I'd be too concerned about. If it comes back, if the market pulls back, hey, but it's still trending up overall. It's just got a big upper wick today. Nice stock though. It's a beautiful stock. Here's Google. I've talked about Google being so undervalued, but it's just a breather. The stock went from $150 to almost $300 in just a few months here. So yeah, it's probably just going to move to the side right now, if I had to guess. So I'm just gonna put like a neutral rating on Google. It might be bullish or bearish, but I will say Google undervalued. I do like the stock though. I still like it. Here's Constellation Energy, just overvalued. It's just kind of like Oculus. My big concern here. This is my level. It caught it here, right? But we're not quite getting that confirmation. So if we break below 336, would be observant of that as well. The stop price is right below that, 329. So if we break that, our sell rating will be coming in shortly after. But overall, it's got strong earnings, right? Forecasted earnings is good. It's just the stock is overvalued. The stock is overvalued. So just be careful with this one. Here's Qualcomm. You know what I do like for Qualcomm? Obviously, I like the valuation here. It kind of reminds me of Micron, right? You know, Micron had a much better story with the HBM. You know, maybe I should do some research on Qualcomm and see exactly what's going on. That's not a company I really follow a whole lot as far as in the semiconductor space. Probably, actually none, to be honest. You see the stock's really done a whole lot of nothing. Maybe that's why I don't follow them, because they've really done a whole lot of nothing. So other than investors not willing to pay a fair price for them, that's not a good sign, honestly. Earnings per share is rising, but did falter. Let's take a look at some of the forecasted data. Actually, I'll just use this other graph layout here. 11 and 10%, and both of them are falling. It was 16%. So the forecasted earnings and sales is faltering, right? And you can see the stock just going nowhere over the last 12 months. So I'm not going to like this stock here. I'm not going to like this stock. Here's Netflix, just broke its 200 day. So here's another thing you can use. But RT gave us warning way back here on Netflix, right? Now, if we had some pivot action here on this 200, I'd be a little bit more excited. But we broke it, and really the pivot just came on the bottom end here. You know, we broke the 200 and the rejection on all these moving averages. I don't like any of it. And the real thing, my real problem with Netflix, honestly, is just the valuation. I mean, we value the stock at $86 right now. It's $106. I know it just had the split, but that doesn't mean I want to overpay it. I mean, yeah, it's just kind of run away from our valuation here. Even though the value is still rising, and you can see this is one of the first times, actually in a long time, that Netflix has broke its 200 day. So I'm not going to be bullish on it. I'm going to let the stock come to me. And hey, if it goes down into the 80s and becomes fairly valued, probably put it on my radar then. Probably actually might be a really good dip to buy, because Netflix is a game changer. I don't see anyone, really, battling them out. Disney Plus it's tried, but Netflix pretty much gave them and Hulu a run for their money. Here's Par Pacific. I'll tell you right now, if that value didn't shoot up like a rocket ship recently, I would just stick to the technicals. But look at the growth rate and earnings. Look at the value. Maybe do a little research, see what's going on in this company here. I'm not bullish on petroleum in generally speaking, but this stock could garner some attention here. I mean, look at that value, just rocking and rolling, undervalued right now. As long as it stays above the 20 and 40, and continues this pattern, nice lower left, upper right, hey, I like it. But you can see it's starting to roll over with the market. So, just be careful. Stick to your whatever stop you have in play. Here's Tempest AI. Well, I would have said the 200 day, look for the pivot. And you can see the pivot could have shaped up, but looks like just a fakie, just like the rest of the market here. Looks like it's going to break it. Way overvalued. That's my problem here. Maybe right in here. I'd look right here, maybe 58 for a level. But it's breaking it, and it's just way overvalued, right? These way overvalued AI companies, I mean, just from what you see in the news, I mean, logically thinking, these are probably going to be some of the first ones on the chopping block, right? If the market really starts to wean out some overvalued AI stocks. So be careful on this one. But this would be my level here, about $58. Look for the pivot there. Otherwise, if it breaks it, definitely get defensive. Hopefully Santa doesn't keep dropping off coal, right? It just depends. The ones who are in cash, they want the stocks to keep going down, right? The ones who are more into the stocks, obviously you don't want to see your stocks go down. So it's just a caveat, just stay on the right side of the market. Now here's natural gas. Natural gas is volatile. You can see going into the holidays, this is typically a seasonal trade here. You can see, look, what did it do last time this year, right? It was going down and started moving back up into the winter time. Let's see here. And actually, let's just look at this. Well, that is summertime when it spiked. But last winter, it did shoot up, right? This winter, you see it already starting to make its way back up, right? So yeah, stick to the technicals, but you can see looks like the 20 and 40 do a good job. So as long as price action stays above those two for the most part in this uptrend, hey, can't be mad at it. It's not my expertise in plans. You could probably use like Star Search or something as well, especially if the momentum picks up in this trade. Here's Pan American Silver. Looking for support at the 40. Be careful. I mean, overall, lower left, upper right, I like it. Value, undervalued. We don't have a sell rating. Where is our stop price on this? Actually, let's switch to... Not back there. Over here. 35. Right now we're at 36. So yeah, about $1 before we get to a sell. And I actually do like that sell price because there's a gap here. So it might be tempted to fill the gap. So I might give it a little bit more wiggle room. Not much though. Because the gap's around 34.70, maybe like 34.50. See if you get a pivot off this gap fill. Otherwise, just want price action to keep moving up. RT's staying 1 here. Here's LAES. Since it broke this, I'm looking for this here. Where's value? Value's climbing. But see the stock? I mean, it just went parabolic. This is a quantum stock here. They actually have their quantum resistant semiconductors. It's going to be a huge market. They've got partnerships with like SpaceX, a bunch of other big names. Definitely not a stock to sleep on. I'm not going to be a buyer of it right now. This is kind of when I did the trade setup here. You can see the trade obviously broke any kind of level I had there. So get bearish on it. Me personally, I want this sucker back down closer to $2. If this gets closer to $2, if I get a little bit more tick up in that value, and I can get in a quantum stock fairly valued for once, that's Christmas alone for me. So come on, Santa, bring them back down for me. All right, here's Uber. You can see my zone right here. Look where Uber stopped, right at the bottom of the zone. So I'm going to stick with that zone, 82.48. If it breaks it, I'm not going to like it. The stock is overvalued, but more importantly, value's declining and price is declining. RT below 1. I'm not jumping into Uber quite yet. I mean, right now it just looks like a quick little technical bounce off this prior swing high, right? We got a fresh sell rating today. No, I'm going to let this come to me. I'm going to let that one come to me for sure. Here is Lumentum. No, protect those profits. Look at this big guy. That's a big jump. It's electronic. It is overvalued. It's a lot of momentum. Again, AI overvalued stocks. That's typically, just logically thinking with the headlines, probably what's going to be on the chopping block. Protect those profits. And because the stock went a little bit more parabolic, probably use something maybe like Star Search, which there's the parabolic move, right? You want to protect those profits. Star Search showing a little bit of weakness right now. Not saying, to close out everything, but, at least protect some profits, right? And actually, let's go back to simple. Just looking at simple, though. Rising earnings. That value is nice. See, there's that one pivot. So that would be the first level of support. You could see a couple touches on it. Second level is going to be right here. So we got about 1,216 maybe. We got about 178. And if it breaks 178, it's going to get closer to our valuation. So again, a lot of these stocks that are overvalued, let them come closer to our valuation. That's okay. And if you're in this stock, hey, it's still got the buy rating. Whatever stop you put in place, whatever your goals were, stick to it. If the market's making you a little nervous, maybe tighten it up a little bit, right? But live to fight another day. Whatever you do, just don't. All right, so let's talk about it. This is a great way to end today, right? What time is it? Probably right on cue. 3:09. We're actually over. Joey's probably happy he's at the doctor's today. What did I tell everybody? I've said it on the video. If you did the swing on UAMY, the profit target it hit. It was around 822, right? The line is still there. And the reason why I did that line is prior swing high here, right? Sounds like something I would say. So if you bought it just off of this swing, well, guess what? You're back down probably about where you bought it, right? Actually less. It's 596. So I'm going to tell you where I'm thinking this thing's going to go already. If I had to guess, between 418 and 511. I've been right about UAMY. I don't like to say that a lot, but if you followed me in UAMY, I've called this thing to the T. I'm thinking somewhere in here. And guess what? The stock will actually be fairly valued once again, and that's where my investment opportunities will probably lie, within UAMY at this point. Again, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, because I talked about this, but that kind of showing up as a quick trade, that wasn't really that surprised here. Actually, I don't want to get rid of all these little ones. These guys here. Let's zoom in here to UAMY. Let's talk about this. I see no buyers right now. We're at session lows. Value's at 466. That's all right. That is all right. That's going to be a good stock there. Good stock, good stock. But because it broke this red line, finally, get defensive on it. I mean, this whole time, especially, I mean, please don't tell me you wrote it to 20 bucks and all the way back down to 5.95. Please don't tell me you did that. Never would want to see that. But for those who missed out on the UAMY train, looks like opportunities might be on the horizon again here in the near future. All right, on that note, everybody, hope you enjoyed the commentary. Hope you enjoyed the hosting. Hope you enjoyed my secret recipes when it comes to deviled eggs. All right. On a serious note, we got to get going. Got the daily color guard report today. Definitely check that out. It's going to be some good insight. I'll go over all of our proprietary market timing signals, keep you on the right side of their trade. Take a look at some support levels, right? Take a look, see where we could potentially find a bottom. That's the question right now. But more so than that, have some patience. Have some patience, right? And have some discipline. You know, if you bought the stocks last week and the week before off that QQQ pivot or whatever pivots you saw and they weren't working out, have the discipline to close the trade and live to fight another day. Other than that, you guys have a good afternoon. Talk to you soon. Bye.